Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah the Father and Yahusha the Messiah, his Son. Hear, O Yasrael, Yahuwah our mighty one is one Yahuwah. This is Brother David coming to you again to bring you the laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments of Yahuwah. And we're starting the day from Deuteronomy 15. We just left 14, the dietary laws. Can we do this in the land of our captivity? Absolutely. The Father has given us these laws, not just to set us apart from all the nations upon the earth, but also to keep us healthy. We know now that shellfish, pork, shrimp, catfish, shark, all of these things will clog your arteries, heart disease. So it's a health issue also. This is why the Father has given us these commandments. If you stick to them, you will have long life and you will be healthy. Note, we saw something else while we were dealing with these commandments. Remember I told you about the chicken that fell off the roof and died of himself? He broke his own neck when he fell off the roof. The Bible says you can't eat anything that dies of himself. But look what it said after that. You can give it to the stranger. The stranger is the sojourner. You can give it to him. You can give it to the foreigner. But you can't eat it because you are different, peculiar. You are holy, set apart from everyone else. This is how special you are to him above all people upon the earth. Let's begin. Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 1 to 6. Verse 1. At the end of every 7 years, thou shalt make a release. Verse 2. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or his brother, because it is called Yahuwah's release. The brother and the neighbor is the same person. It just wanted to make sure that you understood who he was talking about. You have to release your brother after 7 years. Look at this. Of a foreigner, thou mayest exact it again. That's anyone who is not of the children of Israel. But that which is thine with thy brother, thine hand shall release. He cleared it up. He wanted to make sure that you got it. Remember the dietary law. The Father told you if a chicken fell off the roof and died of itself, you can't eat it, but you can give it to the stranger and to the alien. Here is telling you about the release from debt. You have to release your brother, the neighbor, but the foreigner or the stranger, you can exact it again. Are you understanding what we're seeing here, brothers and sisters? You are set apart above all people. Don't listen to what people are telling you. When it comes to the kingdom, you shall be the head and not the tail. Verse 4. Save when there shall be no poor among you, for Yahuwah shall greatly bless thee in the land which Yahuwah thy mighty one giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. I wonder if this time is going to be no poor among us. Verse 5. Only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah thy mighty one, to observe to do all these commandments which I command thee this day. This promise is connected to an action. You have to keep these commandments. Verse 6, for Yahuwah thy mighty one blesseth thee, as he promised thee. The promise is only for the children of Israel. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow. That's not now. That's going to be in the kingdom. Just think Chase Manhattan Bank, Deutsche Bank, all of the bigwigs have to come and borrow from you. But you will not borrow from them, and thou shalt reign over all of them, but they shall not reign over you. Verse 7, if there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren, listen, the distinction again, of one of thy brethren, with any of thy gates in thy land, which Yahuwah thy mighty one giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother. DNA again. Verse 8, but thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need in that which he wanteth. Hey, check this out. You can't dictate what he can use it for. You just have to open your hand wide and give him sufficient for his needs. If he decides that he wants some weed, a bag of weed, or if he wants to buy some crack or wine or Grey Goose, it's out of your hands. You are just supposed to give to him and not worry what he wants to use it for. Verse 9, beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him nothing, and he cry unto Yahuwah against thee, and it be sin unto thee. Okay, let me give you an example. 5 years have passed. You're in the 6th year now. Your brother comes to you in the 6th year, and he says, I need you to lend me money. And because your heart is wicked and hardened, in your mind you say, next year is the year of release. If I lend it to him now, and he doesn't pay me by next year, I'm going to lose my loan or my investment. The father says, don't you do it. You have to give it to him anyway. And if he is to cry unto Yahuwah because you didn't give it to him, it is transgression of the law unto you. So the poor in the kingdom, all they have to do is know the law, and they can get whatever they need because Yahuwah has supplied it for them. Verse 10, thou shalt surely give him. You got that? And thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him. The only way that your heart will not be grieved is if you understand the law. If you're familiar with the law, you know if he don't pay you, Yahuwah is going to give you an abundance anyway. Because that, for this thing, Yahuwah, thy mighty one, he shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thy hand to. You see that? Verse 11, for the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy in the land. Verse 12, and if thy brother, an Hebrew man, or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee and serve thee 6 years, then the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. Stop. A Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman woman are the only ones who can participate in this release in the 7th year. Do you see it? Because this is a part of the promises. The stranger is not privy to this. A Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman. He spelt it out for you. He wants you to know that you are special. You're above all people on this planet. Verse 13. And when thou sendest him out from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Who is this? The Hebrew man or the Hebrew woman. They are not to go out from thee empty. What do you have to do then? Verse 14. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock, and out of thy floor, and out of thy winepress. Of that wherewith Yahuwah thy mighty one hath blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him. Liberally, brothers and sisters. You have to give him his portion. Out of your flock, out of your threshing floor. That's your grain that you have, stored up. And your wine press. Give him a whole big barrel of wine. Verse 15. And thou shalt remember, keep it in mind, that you was a bondman in the land of Egypt. They didn't do this for you. And Yahuwah thy mighty one redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today. I don't want you to treat your brother like you were treated in Egypt. You have to open your hand wide unto your brother. Can you do this here? Yes, you can. You can give him according to his need. And you're not to stipulate what he can use it for. If he wants to go, if he had the pipe in his hand and he was smoking, he said, yo, man, give me $5. I need $5 from you. You have to give him. And if he's going to buy some more crack, that's none of your business. You've done your job. Verse 16. And it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee in thine house, because he is well with thee. Listen to this. You treated him like one of your own family. You've taken care of him. You are the landlord. You've built him a house that he can live in. He might even have a wife and children through them. There's some other laws that stipulate that. It's not here, but I'm just going through a few things. And he wants to stay with you. Look what you do in verse 17. Then you shall take an awn, I guess it's some kind of a pen, and thrust it through his ear unto the door, and he shall be thy servant forever. And also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise. So remember something, the Hebrew man is speaking of, and the Hebrew woman. Verse 18. It shall not seem hard unto thee, when thou sentest him away free from thee, for he hath been worth a double hired servant to thee. Man, he was a good worker. He made me a lot of money. But it's the 7th year. I have to make sure I give him sufficient for all of his needs. It's going to hurt me, but it's not going to be hard, because I know that this is Yahuwah's release. And Yahuwah thy mighty one shall bless thee in all that thou doest. I am not dependent upon the hired servant. I am dependent upon my master. He says that if I do this the way he wants me to do it, I shall be blessed in everything that I do. Verse 19. All the firstling males that come of thy herd and of thy flock, thou shalt sanctify unto Yahuwah thy mighty one, the firstborn. Thou shalt do no work with the firstling of thy bullock, nor shear the firstling of thy sheep. You're not to have the firstling of your bullocks pull the plow. No work at all. They're special. They're set apart. They're sanctified unto Yahuwah. You're not supposed to cut off the wool of the firstling of thy sheep. They are special. They are sanctified unto Yahuwah. You have to treat them special. Even the animals, the firstborn that come out, they belong to Yahuwah. Verse 20. Thou shalt eat it before Yahuwah thy mighty one year by year in the place which Yahuwah shall choose, thou and thy household. What place is that? The temple. Why there? You were supposed to take the beast. He was supposed to be sacrificed. The Levite gets his portion. You get your portion. You are to roast it and to eat it before Yahuwah, you and your household, and you are to rejoice. Verse 21. And if there be any blemish therein, as if it be lame or blind or have any ill blemish, thou shalt not sacrifice it unto Yahuwah thy mighty one. Did you know the Israelites were doing this? Every abomination, we've done it. This is why we're in the lands of our captivity today. We're learning these things again so that we can see how our ancestors dropped the ball. Verse 22, thou shalt not eat it within thine gates. The unclean and the clean person shall eat it alike, as the roebuck and the hart. Remember, this clears it up. It's a clean person and an unclean person. The clean person are the children of Israel. Anyone else outside of the children of Israel are unclean. Verse 23, only thou shalt not eat the blood thereof. Thou shalt pour it upon the ground as water. That means no more steaks, medium rare or raw, bloody. Cook it fully. Roast it with fire, brothers and sisters. I hope you can see how special you are. The Father's done all of this for you. When you get back into the kingdom, because of what you've been through here in the lands of your captivity, you will be very thankful. And you will be required to teach your children all of these laws, statutes, and commandments, even if we're not doing them anymore, because I don't believe there's going to be any more of this sacrifice in the kingdom. We've made it to the promised land. If you make it this time, you've made it. It is it. You'll not see this captivity stuff anymore. Continue to chapter 16. Shalom.